This, ladies and gentlemen, is the Eagle One Pro electric scooter.
MrCentralDriver maniac on a scooter. Watch out. Come on, Corolla. How am I going as fast as you? It's getting a little squirrely, I'm not gonna lie. 46 miles an hour is what he said. I am holding on to this with my death grip on right now.
Now let me go over some of the specs real quick, or the main stuff that you want to know. So we got a dual motor setup, 1,000 watts a piece, peak power of 3,600 watts. And the way they're doing that is with two controllers, they're 30 amps each, on a 60 volt, 27 amp hour battery. Now this thing is supposed to pack a huge punch. It's supposed to get about 45 miles of range as well. We got nice brakes, nice tires. It collapses to fold nice and compact. It does have NSC. You got a nice thumb throttle right here. Zoom hydraulic brakes that are branded by VARLA. I kind of like it overall. I like the color of it. They also have it in blue if you don't like the red. But this is gonna be a very cool scooter, especially for $2,000. And if you use my discount links down in the description with the discount code at checkout, it's gonna save you $50 to $100 just depending on the sale that they have going on right now. But without further ado, I got to bring in here with a camera, show you guys the stuff up close and personal, some other specs on it, and then we'll take it out for a spin and we'll see if it's worth that $2,000. 160 millimeter rotors, those Zoom hydraulic brakes right there, and tubeless tires, so you don't have to worry about getting flats on this thing when you go out for a ride. The tires have a street-like pattern, and they're 11 inches tall and about 4.5 inches wide. You got a nice looking headlight right up front. Now this is how you fold the scooter down. Pull this all the way to the right-hand side. Pull this locking pin out that has a pink ribbon on it. And then this folds all the way down. One thing to keep in mind is when you're folding this, the screen will hit this back plate, so you're gonna want to bend this out of the way, so make sure your bolts to this aren't super tight so you can move it. There is no latch to put on here, so picking this thing up is kind of a pain. Now because you don't have that thing that latches on here so you can pick it up with both hands like this, you're gonna have to reach behind here where the tail light's at and probably right here. Then you'll be able to pick this thing up like that, but it is very awkward and it weighs 90 pounds. Here is a look at the underside of the scooter. Nothing real special, no LEDs, no RGBs, no nothing flashing on this scooter, which is unfortunate. I would have kind of liked that. But one thing I did notice is that you have a little foam plate that they put right here for the kickstand. They give you a bell up here. Here's a look at your thumb throttle right here. Here's your little button layout right here. You got your plus and minus to go up in modes, and then you got your icon right here for information. Hold this to turn on your headlights, and then this is your power button. And when you do power this thing on, something that's really cool about the scooter is it flashes like this. It won't actually come on. No one can steal it. It comes with an NFC chip. It comes with two of them actually. And you just tap this on the bottom, and there you go, and that's your screen. And if you don't want to carry the NFC chip with you, you can actually program your phone to work with that. You have some locking grips right here, but the ends don't lock, and I've noticed that these are actually very loose on the handlebars. Maybe it was just the other side because this side feels fine. Now you do get a rear fender and a little baby front fender. You can see your suspension down in here that's also adjustable, so you can actually move this up. You need a special tool to do that. Unfortunately though, talking about those fenders, they don't go all the way down, so you're gonna get splashed a little bit with these fenders. This is gonna get all muddy and dirty in there. On this side of the scooter, you have your charge ports, and you got two of them. The only thing is the scooter only comes with one of them, and it's gonna take you about 14 hours from dead to full to charge this electric scooter. But you can buy a second charger for about 70 bucks, and it will charge this in half the time, about 7 hours from dead to full. I like this deck on here. You do have a little bit of foam padding. It's not super thick, and mine's kind of coming off a little bit, so I want to make sure I stick that down on here. You also have some padding right there, and I like that it's decently long. It's about 22.8 inches for your feet to stand, but you're probably going to have your rear foot on this one at most of the times. Here is a closer look at that motor down in here. So now let's check out the lights on this scooter. I'm gonna turn off the light to the garage. I'm gonna turn one light above me just so I can see a little bit better. But the front headlight is doing a great job of illuminating most of my garage. I can see pretty much everything in here. And if I go back a little bit, you're gonna see that it is not very wide. And when you turn the handlebars, it actually doesn't go in the direction that you're turning because it's stationary to the frame of the scooter. So just keep that in mind when you're turning. It's not going to go at the angle that you want it to light up. Now the brake light on the other hand looks cool, and it looks very bright. It looks like I'm already pushing the brake light, but this is what it looks like when I push the brake light. Unfortunately, it doesn't get brighter when you hit the brake light, it just flashes. But I still think it looks pretty good in the back for safety. Last but not least, let me stand on it and try to compress the suspension without falling over. Maybe I'll actually just hold on to my garage. Now this thing does hold up to someone that's 330 pounds, but they recommend no one really over 265 pounds because that's gonna take away from the speed and torque of this thing. But this thing definitely feels smooth and the steering feels great too. So I feel like it's time for us to get out there and ride this thing. Something to quickly pay attention to is when you do set your scooter, the kickstand is non-adjustable and it almost hit straight completely up. So when I was putting it on my driveway, it actually was about to fall over. So we're in my speedometer. I reset the mile per hour and I reset the miles we traveled, and we're gonna record all this so we can see how fast we go and how much range we get out of this thing. All right guys, we are out here on the GoPro. My first impressions ever of this scooter. I don't ride these things and then do my review and talk over the video. This is my first actual 0.50 mile so far. And what I've noticed right off the bat is getting on this thing, we were at 97 to 98% of a charge, and look where it's at right now, 84%. And when I get on it for a couple seconds, it goes down to 52%. So it's definitely going off of voltage sag. That's not something I like to see on these things, because that's always gonna scare you, especially if you're down to 50% and then you get onto it. Is it gonna show 10%, 5% left? Something else I noticed is that you can only go up to mode number 3. Most of the time these scooters and bikes will go up to 5, and this one only goes up to 3, unfortunately. And right now I am in single motor. I just wanna see how fast we can actually go in this mode. So I'm gonna go all the way down this street and then I'll pull up my phone. We'll see what the top speed is. I'm seeing about 28 on the display. We'll see if that's right. When I step off the scooter, I feel so small. The bars are almost as tall as me. So 27 miles per hour, and that said 28, so it's 1 mile per hour off. All right, not too bad. Because I was gonna put my phone mount up here and I realized that the ones that I have don't fit because these bars are really skinny up here, but then it gets in the way of this and then it gets in the way of that, but then they get real fat right here and then it was hitting the display. So I have to figure something out. And it's already saying that we're down to 84% and I went 1 mile. What? So time to switch it in dual motor, and to do that you hold the plus button up and you're gonna see a little green icon at the top next to the battery percentage. And now we're in dual motor, and then this thing definitely has some good power to it after you do that. So we're going as fast as I can in one direction, and then I'm gonna go back the other way and we're gonna see where our top speed is. Right now I'm seeing about 39 miles per hour, almost 40. We're showing 30% on the battery, which is crazy. So here's 40, almost 40. Come on, 40. All right, I'm about to slow down. So far, we have done 37.3 miles per hour. So now when it's in dual motor, this display, when it's going up in mile per hour, looks like it's off now 2 miles per hour instead of 1. So unfortunately, it's not 45 miles per hour, but for some reason, our battery is just super low. It's at 82%. And I figured to get 45 miles an hour out of this thing, it needs to be at 100%. It's gonna go down lower and lower as your battery goes down. But I'm assuming this is around a good 40 mile per hour scooter. Getting over that is really gonna depend on your weight, terrain, downhill, stuff like that. I can't believe how stable I feel on this thing. That is the most noticeable thing I'm feeling right now. Hey, we're hitting more of a top speed. We'll check our top speed later and see if we got any more faster than what we showed earlier. But man, the stability of this thing is hands down solid. We got those nice flat street tires on here, and that's really making this thing feel really good. I'm in my little speed area, and when I do all these scooters and bikes, normally from these pillars all the way to the next pillars is about 27 miles per hour. If we go over 27, it's faster. If we go under 27, it's slower. I want to do this test twice. I'm going to put it in single motor first, and we're going to run the test, and then we're going to do it again in dual motor. 1, 2, 3, go. This is single motor right here, ladies and gentlemen. I'll get a good look at the display for you so you can see how this scooter picks up in real time. Not dubbing any audio over here, no false advertising. And we're going. We know it's 1 mile per hour off on the lower setting, then 2 mile per hour off at the higher setting. So, dang, we did 29 miles an hour, which means we probably hit about 27, 28 in single motor, which means dual motor is gonna be a lot more faster. You can switch the modes on the fly too. I like that. So if you wanna be in single motor or dual motor, you can do it while you're actually riding. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, push off, go. I put most of my weight up front so I didn't pill out too much. It really doesn't actually pill out like I thought it would.
Holy crap, 33, 34, 35, 30. I don't know how much I want to go. Okay, that was about 37, so roughly like 35-ish. Damn, we were jamming. This thing is fast. Let's see if I can get this thing to pill out if I lean back, but you still have to push start this thing. So let's do this. Oh yeah, this thing is fun. These are the types of scooters that people look at and they're like, how can you do 40 miles an hour on a scooter? But you get on it and it feels just as stable, if not more stable, than an e-bike. No joke, it feels so good. Now I'm gonna see if I can reach a higher top speed because this does go downhill just a little bit, and then we'll check and see. Let me tuck real quick, get super low. Come on, we can do it. 40, 41, come on. All right, oh, 42. I saw 42 really quick. Now, as you charge this battery over and over and over, it's actually gonna be more balanced with all the cells in there, and you should actually hit a better top speed once you get some charges in here. This is the very first charge this thing's ever had, so it hasn't really cycled through a lot. Let's check our speed though. 38.8 miles per hour. I was really looking to see over 40 miles per hour because I saw 42 on here, so now it's telling me 3 miles per hour off roughly. Well, I guess, yeah, because if you go by 39 miles per hour, that said 42, so about 3 miles an hour off. This thing's jamming though. The only thing I'm really noticing about this scooter is the battery percent just keeps going down little by little. We're at 78% and I've only went 4 miles. So we're really draining through this battery. I'm not exactly sure what the range is supposed to be when you're in dual motor in mode 3, the highest mode you can go on. Now they say 45 miles of range, but I bet you that's on a single motor and that's probably in mode number 1. So just keep that in mind. It also is going to depend on your terrain and your weight as well, like every other vehicle on the market. But here is a quick walk around of the scooter. It's definitely bigger in person. It didn't fit in the back of my Tesla Model Y. Unless I put the back seats down, then it would have fit. So it is on the bigger side of scooters, but not super big like a 72 volt, but definitely ones that you get from San Francisco that you rent, like the Bird scooters, definitely a lot bigger than that. We're at the hill test. I do have to start a little bit back here because it is push to start. So I have to kick it off and then I can go up. Full power, baby, full power. Oh, nope, it cut out. At 3 miles per hour, it cut out. Let's try that again in dual motor. 1, 2, 3, push off. Woo, we're pulling out everywhere. Oh, okay, I actually let off because I thought it was gonna pop a wheelie at the top, but there you go. Now, something I'm noticing is that since we went on the dirt and I put my feet down and now I got dirt on the deck, it's actually not as tacky as I thought it was gonna be. So my feet are slipping all over the place. What the heck? And I got Air Forces. These things should have some grip. One thing I'm noticing is if you are in dual motor and you're trying to regulate your power to around 10, 15 miles an hour, somewhere around there, the throttle is so sensitive that you can't get it right. You're either in power or out of power. So if you want to go that slow, you definitely need to knock it down to a lower mode or take off dual motor, which I'm going to go in single motor right now and see if it's a little bit less touchy. And that feels a lot better. It's something you got to get used to as well. When you push off with this scooter, you got to be doing at least 2 miles an hour when you push off. You can't just do a little push off and expect it to start moving. I've done it probably 5 times now while I'm out here and I push off and it doesn't move. And I look down, it says 1 mile per hour on the display. So I think you need to be doing like 2 miles an hour pushing off with this scooter before we'll activate. So off-roading, it's handling everything great. The only thing I'm feeling is in my hands. That's the only roughness I feel, but my whole body, my feet, everything feels fine. It's just I feel like I'm gonna wipe out on this stuff, so I'm not going that fast. So in this section, we normally do the turning test, but what I wanna do is a one-handed test. So you might be able to see that the scooter is kind of shaking back and forth, so it's not the most stable thing to let off with one hand. Scooters, you never want to let off with one hand, but this one has some stability in the front. It feels really good. And turning feels weird though, I gotta admit, because the tires are so flat, it really takes a lot of effort, but then if you put too much effort in, it just grips and goes and it catches you off guard. So be very careful, guys, when turning this scooter. But if you just want to go super fast straight, this thing is perfect for that. So just when you turn, lean your body with it, take it a little slower, don't jam around stuff, and you should be fine. Another thing that you guys need to know is this is the turning radius. that's where it locks. So it doesn't go all the way around the circle. That's as much as you could turn it. You're never gonna turn it that much while riding, but it does make it easier if you're storing it, locking it up somewhere. Or for example, right now, if I wanted to make a U-turn, I can't make a U-turn without going into the dirt. That is a very big U-turn, so just something to keep in mind. Not a deal breaker, but I just like to point that out. I'm in dual motor, and we're gonna test out these brakes. Not this fast though. We're gonna try to keep our test the same at about 28 miles per hour. It's gonna be kind of hard to get there, but I'm doing my best. I'm regulating the power as much as I can. There we go, it's about 20, yeah, 27-ish. Ooh. Dang, okay, I'm gonna say that was about 27 miles per hour, maybe even closer to 26, but wow, look, that's the line we stopped behind on our e-bikes, or at the line. This thing stopped hella good. I'm gonna actually try to do that test at around 29, 30 miles an hour and see how well it stops, because that is absolutely impressive. Here comes our big ass U-turn. Where we at? 29? Ugh. Woo. All right. Oh man, the front like endoed and the back came up. I felt it floating, but we were going a little faster, but I noticed that the speed dropped very fast on the display, but we were still moving at a higher speed than the last one. And we stopped right behind this line. These are some fantastic brakes for an electric scooter. I am so impressed. So the next test we're gonna do is on a new trail, and I'm gonna come up this little overpass, and then we're gonna go down and we're gonna see what our top speed is. But everyone's just taking up the whole trail. I really appreciate it. Excuse me, guys. Thank you. Here we go, going around this roundabout. Oh, it's so sensitive and touchy in dual motor when I'm trying to regulate my power. You gotta get used to that, guys. It's not smooth down low. It just wants to keep going and give you all that power possible. But no problem getting up this hill. It's a true test, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see how fast we can go. I'm actually going pretty damn fast. Faster than I thought. It's getting a little squirrely, I'm not gonna lie. 46 miles an hour is what he said. I am holding on to this with my death grip on right now. I gotta let off. Ooh, I got a little scared. I don't normally get scared on stuff like this, but I felt it. There was a section where it had like multiple bumps, or maybe it's just a scooter in general, where it just kind of skated just a little bit. I'll pull over here though, and we'll see where our top speed is. 43.1 miles per hour. We've done 6 miles on my phone, 6 miles on here. So the range is adding up to real GPS. So that's good to see. It's just the mile per hour is off about 3 miles per hour, or 2 miles an hour roughly at the top. Why is there so many loud people out here? Go electric. All right, guys, so I have my headlight on now because it looks like it's getting a little gloomy and dark. And I also wanted to let you know that we're at 70% battery, not being on the throttle for 6 miles. And when I do get on the throttle, it's looking like, I'm waiting for it to drop. It's at 60 right now. It's gonna go lower than that. 43 or 42%. And it's not a big fan of seeing that voltage sag. Something I would have liked to see change on this scooter, as I've been riding it for a while, is you're using your thumb to hold down the throttle on the right-hand side. Well, your front brake is on the left-hand side. And I don't like that because I always have my finger on the front brake because it's easier, just in case there's an emergency. If there's an emergency and I gotta let off the throttle, there's a couple second delay where I gotta go like this and then, you know, grab my fingers and push the rear brake. The rear brake's gonna be a lot safer to push than the front because you can endo if you really lock it up. So I would like to see these brakes swapped around. I'm pretty sure a shop can do it if you really wanted them to. Probably take them like 30 minutes really. But that's just kind of how it comes out of the box. Now this is a street that we never come on because it's a little busy and it's really bumpy. So I actually am about to let off because this does not feel great. Any wrong bump can throw you down. Even though the scooter feels really good and stable, you just can never trust the road. The Rivian? All right, what's going on up here with the traffic? Come on, people. Don't be stupid. Don't go out in front of me. I'm a madman on a scooter. Ooh, going over this overpass with these tires. A little wishy-washy, but not too bad. We probably shouldn't be going this fast in heavy traffic. Everyone just got off work. But you know what? We do it for the YouTube, all right? I was gonna say do it for the gram, but this ain't going on Instagram. YouTube, baby. MrCentralDriver, maniac on a scooter. Watch out. I can't use my bell, which is my horn, because I'm using the throttle right now. So I think the bell should be on the other side so you can actually use your thumb, because I can't do it right now. Now, right now, after I've been on the scooter for 9 miles, coming up to 10, we were down to like 32%, and it looks like it's going back up to around 55%. Now 57%. I'm pretty sure if I turn it off and turn it back on, it would be higher, but then I have to get the NFC and I have to take off my gloves because it's in my pocket. Be a big pain in the ass. Which, remember, if you do get this scooter and you don't want to use the NFC chips because you don't want to hold those around, you're afraid of losing them, you just want to keep them safe or whatever, you can program your phone. I haven't done it or anything like that, so I can't tell you how, but you can get your phone to NFC, so you always just, you know, tap it. You're always going to have your phone on you, so that's kind of a cool feature you could do on this scooter. I'm out. I'm having more fun on the scooter than I thought. But yeah, this is cool. Okay. So some really big bumps right there. Holy crap. This road is hella slanted with dips. Come on, Corolla. How am I going as fast as you? I'm actually surprised we're going. Look how fast we're going, and we're down to like 30% under load. We're moving pretty good. Hello. Man, we're jamming. It's actually pretty fun, but I'm gonna get off the street. Too much traffic. I want to see if we can still pull out on this scooter now that we're down to like somewhere around 50 to 60%. No, not really. I can do it if I really kind of pull the front end up and lift my weight to the back, but it really doesn't pill out like I thought it would now that we're down on power. Don't go, Lexus, don't go. What up, hybrid? We're kind of alike, but I have no gas, baby. Here's something that I don't think anyone's mentioned on a video review, is that if you have your hand too close over this way and you try to let off the throttle, it will actually get caught by your other finger. And that's what happened earlier. I probably deleted the clip because there wasn't really anything going on, but I almost ate shit, I felt like, because I wanted to let off the throttle, and when I was letting off of it, it got stuck behind my finger and it wouldn't let off the throttle. Okay, I really appreciate people. It's like I have a bike lane. Look at that. We're going just as fast as traffic. This is awesome. Woo! Okay, it is cobblestone city over here. Come on, Fresno, get it together. Ooh, turning's a little rough. Oh, look at this shit. What the hell did I just run over? That was horrible. All right, coming up an overpass, straight at it. 31, 32. This is awesome. 33. All right, we're gonna start leveling out right now. Scooters are so awesome for getting up hills. So if you guys live in like San Francisco, places that just have super like tall inclines, you're gonna love a scooter, because most of these bikes, even with a 2,000 watt motor, they struggle to get up some slopes, and this thing will really climb. Really impressive. I can't imagine how a 72 volt scooter must feel. Now, I want to say this is seriously the sweet spot for scooters. 52 volt is cool for like someone that's kind of a intermediate learner, not really a beginner. 60 volt is kind of getting on to the professional side of like, you know a lot of your PEVs and you know how to ride. And then 72 volt is just for the hardcore enthusiasts that really have a lot of riding experience and know what they're doing. I like this though. It's not too powerful. It's not too slow. I can get up to like speed with traffic like really quick. And I feel safe on it as long as the roads allow me to be safe. Right turns only. Right turns only. All right, guys, let's go back to the house. I'll give you my final conclusion on the Eagle One Pro electric scooter for $2,000.
Oh my God, my nose. My nose is running like crazy, guys. It is so cold out there, and I always have to have my visor up because it's tinted. I can't see if I close it. So anyways, the scooter's been sitting here for a good like 4 to 5 minutes because I had to set up my camera so we could film this last intro, my final thoughts on it. And what I'm gonna say is with the scooter sitting, we're at 47%. It's down to 3 battery bars left out of the 5. For the battery bars, the first ones, they show white. The last one is very tiny, it shows red. So you probably want to be careful when you get down to the last one. So anyways, 47% to 14 miles. Let's see what my phone said. My phone says 13.5 miles. So that means that's pretty accurate in the range that what this screen is telling you without going into the settings and change anything, which I don't highly suggest, but you can do that if you want to get your mile per hour to match up a little bit better, but then your range might be off as well. So not too bad. So realistically, the way I was riding, I'm not gonna be able to get more than probably, I would say like 26, 27 miles out of this thing in dual motor in mode number 3, which is the highest you can go up to. So it's not the most range that you're gonna get out of a scooter out there. It's not as good as I thought it was gonna get. I really thought it was gonna be like a 40-mile scooter because they list on their website 45, but the claims are always like depending on a bunch of different scenarios. So there you go on my range test. I'm gonna say if you're a little bit heavier than me at 170 pounds, let's say you're 200 pounds, realistically, you're probably gonna get like 25 or close to 25, like around that area, the way I was riding. So if you wanna go back in the video, see everything we were doing, I mean, I'm pretty much flat out 24/7 when I ride these things. The fenders I like, but I don't like that they don't have the fender right here, so this is gonna get all muddy, and when stuff flies up, it could fly right in this area and get on your back. So I don't like that, but I do love the stabilization of this. This felt so stable. Other than the roads are really gonna depend on how this thing's gonna perform, because if you have messed up bumpy roads, nothing's gonna get down that very nice. And since you have tubeless tires, they're actually harder than another tire would be that's not tubeless. So those are very rock solid tires, so you're gonna feel a little bit more than you would, but the suspension really helped my feet. I actually don't feel any fatigue in my feet at all. I did feel a little fatigue in my hands because as I was riding like this, you can kind of feel like all the vibrations and everything like that, but my feet, perfectly fine, no issues. The deck had enough room for my feet to slide around, but that's another con I didn't like about it, is that this deck needs some different grip tape because my feet just slide on it. Even without the dirt, my feet slide on it a little bit, but with getting it dirty with sand and all that kind of stuff, too slippery. I also don't like the kickstand too. It actually fell over and hit my Rave GTX bike, the limited edition one. So stupid scooter, come on now, messing up my perfectly brand new bike over there. But no, seriously, you gotta be careful when using this kickstand, because if you barely put it up, it can like fall. Like, well, right now it's not doing it, but if you accidentally like set it up wrong, it will definitely fall. And if you put it on a driveway, it sits straight up, so it will literally just collapse. So you gotta be careful on where you store this thing. I did like the brakes. I also seem to like the headlight. I didn't really get to test it out, but it looks pretty bright right in the middle. So I'm really like wondering how that's gonna be in our second video when we do that. I love how the screen looks. I also like the NFC. I like the fact that you can put it on your phone. I don't like the bell. I do like the throttle. Not a huge fan of the grips because this one is very, very loose, and I'm not exactly sure how to fix that because it's only one side is locking, the other side isn't. So I would probably switch out these grips if I was you. But I like the scooter overall, especially for $2,000. This thing was a blast. Honestly, I think I had more fun on this thing than I did some of my bikes, because bikes are a little bit more wider. This was a little bit more smaller, and this thing just picks up speed like crazy. Like some of my bikes will go 35, 40 miles an hour. It just takes a while to get up there. So traffic is already gone and you're just left in the dust. And I felt like with this thing, I could stay with traffic and actually catch up to them, if not stay the same speed as them. If I got an extra jump on traffic, they would never catch up to me unless it was a very long stretch of road. So I do like it. It's not gonna be for everybody, of course. If you're gonna wanna go off-roading, don't get this thing because it has street tires on it, but it felt very nice and comfortable. Get this scooter if you're kind of on the upper intermediate level, almost like pro, which means that you know some experience on like riding scooters and electric bikes and stuff like that, and you're not a new person. I probably wouldn't suggest this if you're brand new, but if you are brand new, it is very nice to ride if you just put in single motor, start in 1 or 2, and you should be perfectly fine. Just don't be stupid with it, know your roads, and have some safety gear, wear a helmet, gloves, all that kind of stuff, because one wrong bump on the street will throw you down out of these things. So that's why sometimes I like riding my bikes more than scooters, just because it's a little bit more safer on a bike than a scooter. But I liked it, guys. Links, everything will be down in the description. I'll see you guys in the next one. We take this thing to work, or maybe I'll just ride it around at night. I don't know, we'll see. But love you guys, true MVPs. Peace out, until next time.